we're going to get right in there.
Men don't know better than me. It's my time as a woman to claim my power. It's negative belief systems that I was carrying.
And we're going to find out from the perspective of a woman
that were blocking me really listening to you.
Who's on a crusade.
Conscious female takes ownership for their own creation. Nothing happens in a vacuum.
The conscious female is loving. Their power as women to connect with their intuition and to learn to trust it.
Hi everybody, and welcome to The Edge of Consciousness. And this is my video blog which focuses on the subject of the conscious female. And this is something that I feel really passionate about because in my own personal journey, I'm learning to claim and realize what the conscious female is within myself. And I'm also learning what is the unconscious female, which is aspects and blind spots of myself that I need to see and identify in order to transform.
And see what it is that's in the way of it. What are the filters that come through that really block them being in their true essence of nurturing, loving, understanding, ability to really listen deeply to somebody.
It's so easy to play the victim game and make it all about someone else outside of ourselves. But really, it's never about someone else outside of ourselves. We always have a part to play in it. The conscious female takes ownership for their own participation in their own creation.
How is it that some women can have really traumatic, for example, experiences with men, maybe domestic violence or sexual abuse, and it can absolutely destroy their lives for years and years and years? And how is it that other women can have the same thing happen to them, but they don't use it to hurt and violence themselves continuously for the rest of their lives?
Many women and men, when they're young, are taught, especially women, are taught that watch out for those boys. Watch out, those boys. They're bad boys.
Scary boys.
They're scary boys. Be careful. So already as children grow up and young girls grow up, they're already taught that boys, to be careful of boys in the world.
I got myself into a situation with a guy and had, a really unpleasant sexual experience. Now, if I had put myself in the victim mode, I could definitely have hurt myself with that.
These parts of ourselves, be it male or female, they just operate in different ways. What I can say about the male ego is it's very obvious. It's presidential at this stage, you know. People can see it for what it is. Now these parts of us are like old survival mechanisms, and they're in male and they're in the feminine. The feminine is, I think, cleverer because it's had to be, because it's dealt with kind of almost guerrilla consciousness where the male can dominate the feminine. But it's not to say that the feminine didn't become very adept at using her abilities to turn things in her favor.
So if you grow up with that attitude that men are something to be watched out for, they're kind of dangerous, well, in a sense, that creates an energy inside your own body that eventually will manifest in that belief system happening.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm really searching to play the edge of consciousness and claim the conscious female, because to be honest with you, the old female is causing too much pain for me at this stage. I have to go this route. I actually had to get really honest with myself and say, how did I create that? It was like this conscious feminine energy in me was saying, well, Ciara, how did you create that? What did you do to put yourself in that situation? And even though it really challenged me, you know, because I really wanted to make it about the guy, I really saw that I had created that situation out of my own need.
If you think that men are untrustworthy and you're told by your mom or your grandmother that men are untrustworthy, then men will become untrustworthy. Words are very powerful and words create realities. Thoughts create realities. So the unconscious female is one who grows up in that behavior pattern or that belief system that men are something to be watched out for and men are dangerous.
And when I looked at it even deeper, I realized that I was actually the one that seduced this guy, and then, out of my own need, went back with him that night knowing he had a major alcohol issue, and then got myself into a really unpleasant situation.
Belief systems are very powerful.
And that,
if I change my belief system that, you know, everybody's doing the very best they can with what they've been given, male, female, then that's how I start to see people. You know, that this is a person who doesn't have it all together. They're doing the very best thing they know how to do. Maybe they have a lot of love depression in their life.
yeah.
Maybe they grew up in families or communities where there's a lot of separation and distance and not very much intimacy and connection with other people. And it brings in a whole different perspective, you know?
Yeah. So I had to really look at, as a co-creator, how I manifested that experience. And luckily, I've had teachers and therapists in my life that never have made me a victim. So they've always directed me into really taking responsibility for myself as a co-creator. And that has saved my life, because coming from the family I grew up in, and especially coming down the female line, there's been so much victim blame consciousness that if I was to make that real, no doubt I would make myself sick and be supporting a mental illness within myself.
A big one being victim consciousness, because that really is almost, it's a paradigm on the planet that unfortunately is so ingrained in the female body and the male. It colours everything, that in fact men are the bad guys and have repressed the power of women. Now, if that remains the go-to template for life, how is a woman really ever going to come into her power?
This is what I feel the conscious female does. Even though she's got all these reactions, she hangs in there and pushes through until she can really get to a place where she's taking full responsibility and seeing herself as a co-creator. Because that's real consciousness. And that's what this new conscious energy that's coming from the intelligence of the universe, I feel, is really asking us to do.
That we're all doing the very best we can with what we've been given.
Yeah.
And even though we make mistakes, every person on the planet makes mistakes. Men make mistakes, women make mistakes. But why punish each other? What good does it serve to constantly beat down and punish another person for the mistakes they've made? We're all going to make mistakes, and we all have made mistakes. Nobody is perfect. And so the unconscious female is the one who constantly punishes, and makes other people wrong without taking any ownership that they participated in their own creation.
As a collective, men and female, but particularly I feel that this old feminine unconsciousness is really being highlighted right now. And it's not our fault that we have it. It's just something that we've inherited as human beings. But I feel it is important that we talk about it and really discuss it and get through these taboos of even discussing it and looking at it from this perspective.
That's really powerful.
Yeah, that is real power. The transformational conscious arts and their mastery guides us there.